All right, the level 14. Now there are variations, and what I'm going to share with you today is the simplest level 14, and yet the one that a lot of people struggle with or mess up. So we're going to go through this piece. Now, what I want you to understand is there's two sides of the business, right? You've got your sales side and your admin side. So when you look at level one, here you are. So you've got your sales and admin. So level one, it is the rainmaker, and guess who's doing the admin job also is the rainmaker. Now, when you're on pace to do around that 36 transactions, plus or minus, and so that doesn't mean you do a total of for the year, say 30 transactions when you're on pace, right? So when you're you're doing 3 to 4 transactions a month, guess what? One of two things are going to happen without getting that admin. Quality of life is going to suffer, or customer service. There's just not enough bandwidth there. So you would move on to hiring an actual admin. So that's when we are looking at sales and admin. So the R stands for rainmaker. So, right, you decide to grow, you make your first hire, which is this admin. And maybe you just, and so sometimes we look at, well, how do we afford this admin? Well, do we have to wait till we're on pace? Well, you got to play red light, green light. So, maybe, how can you financially afford it? Maybe you decide to take less profit from the business so you can hire sooner, or you have, maybe you have money stocked away. This person will plus 24 more units in your business after they're performing for 12 months in their role. So you've got the 30, 60, 90 plus the 12 months. So we're talking 15 months, an extra 24 units. So we're somewhere around 60 units in this scenario. This person's job is systems. So lead generation systems, seller systems, buyer systems, financial systems, growth systems. They're going to be by default, right? The listing manager, the transaction manager, the client care person, the marketing person. Now, if you're looking at all that and you're thinking, that's a whole lot. Well, guess what? That's everything the rainmaker is supposed to be doing when they're on pace to do the 36, right before they bring in the admin. So it kind of makes sense that a single agent systems are a hot mess, that quality of life and our customer service is being impacting. There's just not enough bandwidth. You're not wrong or bad. There's just not enough bandwidth. It's just reality. So when that first hire is made, there's tremendous relief taking all the stuff off their plate that gives that rainmaker a lot of time in order to do 2 more deals every single month, which is that 24 extra closings, which takes us to that 60 units. Now, at this point, right, there's tremendous relief, and yet half of those transactions are buyers. So that agent is still working, a ton. So this is where the rainmaker inadvertently causes a challenge in their business. Instead of moving through level 3 and hiring that second admin, they tend to want to skip to level 4 and bring in a buyer's agent. Well, this is a challenge. So let's look at this dynamic and what you really need to understand. So this person, right, we come back up here and we look at this admin, and we're saying that this admin can manage roughly 60 units. Well, our buyer's agent, our intent is for them to do 36 units. Well, guess what? Now, this admin is drowning because you're talking about 96 units for them to manage. They're drowning in paperwork. It's killing them. They don't have a life worth living. And so what happens, right, is And customer service begins to get affected and impacted because the buyer agent either sees the admin's not doing it, so they start doing it, which means they're not doing their 20%, and they are frustrated, right? Because they're doing a 40-50% split because of the leads and the support, right? Well, now they're not getting the support and may not even be getting the leads because we don't have that second admin that's driving this. So now, right, again, we've got quality of service or customer, quality of life or customer service is being impacted. And so everything just feels bad. So one of the things that we need to keep in mind is business ownership. Is every business that gets great customer service builds it on the back of the house, not the front. So not the salespeople. It's the back of the house that gets great customer service. It's what gives great support for the salespeople. Without that support, salespeople aren't having fun and your clients aren't having a great experience. So it's all about that support. So when you do it right, we go through the process and we go to that third level instead of skipping and going to level 4. We go to third level and we hire that second admin. Now that first admin, right, we talked about they're going to create systems so that you have that uniform customer service and scalability. That second hire, in the red book, it might say like transaction manager. And yet really, if you think about admin 1 is systems and admin 2 is lead gen through marketing, right? So this admin 2, now they take over, it's getting your business more specialized. They take over client care, marketing, and listing management. So admin 1 is still operations, still doing transaction close, right? They're doing growth and financial. So now, right, now you also have, they can be cross-trained and that type of thing, and yet you still got the support. So the point of this is once you have the systems in place, right, you can scale for more volume. So you bring that second person in so that you blow up the volume and blowing up the lead generation through marketing. And this creates that harmonious business. So we only make the second hire because we're making, right? So now we're making the second hire because we're bringing in the buyer's agent, okay? Now, technically, you could build this in 270 days, right? Because every 90 days, so let's say that you hire your admin, while they're on their 30, 60, 90, you're searching for your second admin, and then while they're on their 30, 60, 90, right? So 90 days. Now, while they're on their 90 days, we're looking for a buyer's agent, and then we're hiring the buyer agent and they're on their 30, 60, 90, right? And yet it depends on your background. What is your leadership ability? What is your hiring ability? All of those things comes into place with this, right? And yet, this, if you just wanted to kind of share this so that you're looking at if this is the route that you're going to take, this is the understanding behind it. Now, interesting enough, at level 4, this way you're 100 to 120 unit business. And so now the rainmaker, their job is vision and they're the listing agent. And so they're looking at going, right? So they're looking to do 60 closings over here, and your buyer agent, 60. Now, somewhere while they're on pace to get that 60, right? Once they're hitting we'll get into this later, but once they're consistently at that 4-month, right, they're going to probably have a showing partner, which means, potentially by year, that'll end up being able to do, 100 units, approximately 100 units with that showing partner. So we'll get all into that later, but I just wanted to really look at that admin. And the big takeaways that I want you to think about is, if you're on pace and we're not making these hires, what's going to happen is customer service or quality of life is going to be impacted. So keep that in mind. And that's why they're hired in that order before going to that buyer's agent. Trust this helps. Have an amazing day.